Oh, there it is. Jeez. Make sure I could find everything I need. There we go.
All right, this is January 13th. We're going to start the first episode of the, what is it now? The W, which is Wednesday night in radio Zoom, right?
Wednesday radio night Zoom, WRNZ.
There we go. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Franklin Ochita. I'm the vice president of the club, and we're going to go from there. Mike, you're next.
Okay, my name's Mike McCrow, and I want to do a short little tech talk demonstration here. And this is to take a 1930s radio. This happens to be a Philco Model 60 radio, and we want to put a stereo input. Now, obviously, it's not going to be stereo output, but it's going to be so that we can hook up an MP3 player, that type of thing, to this is a 3.5 millimeter jack that you can plug that into any external device like that, Bluetooth, MP3, those types of things, and then play your music through the radio. And what I did to do that is I got the hookup all kind of ready to go, so we wouldn't have to waste a bunch of time, watching me solder it together. And basically what you do is you want to have the two stereo channels as they come in isolated with the two capacitors. Seems to work better. Now I got tips on how to do this from my good friend Blake Dietz. And he said that by doing this, and then what you do is then you combine the two of them together to turn the stereo into a single channel right here. Now this is hooked into the wiper of the volume control. And then from there, obviously it goes to the first audio grid, and then out through the plate of the first audio over to the audio output grid, and then on out to the speaker. And it seems to work really well. This green lead here is the ground. And that's kind of important depending on what kind of radio you've got. This is a transformer set from the 30s. So we're just going to hook this straight to the chassis. That's where the B- is on these radios. And it's convenient because on this set, and I don't know if you can see it very well at all, but I can kind of point it out that it's in a real tight area, but in your volume control right there, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's the arrow with that side of the volume control going straight to chassis. So that's going to make it easy to go ahead and just solder this green lead right to there. And on the set, oops, a little bit closer, maybe move it. Show them that computer. Show you the chassis a little bit better that way.
Nice, so that they could probably see how it looks.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, the volume control is right here, and the wiper is on this red wire, turns to black right here, and then our ground connection is going to be in behind that right there. On AC/DC radios, you want to go ahead and hook your ground right to the floating B-. And I have one that I have put together over here, and it seems to work fine. And anyway, so what I thought I'd do really quick at this point is bear with me for a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead and solder this on, and then go ahead and we'll put the MP3 on it, and hopefully the thing will play good. So we'll see what happens. Oh, before I do that, I left this all open on this wire on purpose so that you could see how it is all hooked up. And then what I like to do is just take a big piece of heat shrink and if I can get that on there, put the whole thing in there, about as tight as I can, actually. There we go, like that. And go ahead and heat that up. And that just makes a lot nicer connection like that. There we go. that to shrink on there a little. Okay, that looks good. All right. Let's see. Got my tools here. I think that's all I'm going to need.
Hey, Mike, this is Myron White.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how does the MP3 thing get powered up?
It's got a battery in it, and then mine charges right off of my computer. You put a USB port through. You know what? I can't see that for now. I'm going to turn this light on. It's going to be a little bit of a glare for a minute or two. There we go. And so you just, it's all battery powered. And
so you just need access to charge it up.
Huh?
You just need
What's
access to charge it.
I charge it right through a USB port in my computer, and then the other end of the wire, and that all came with the MP3 player.
Oh, I see. So it has a cord.
Yes, it's got a little cord. Here, I'll show it to you in just a second.
I'm just on audio, so thank you.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay. Well, then that won't do any good. So, but let me grab the soldering iron.
Yeah, I think I understand. Thanks very much.
I'm gonna solder in this ground first because it's behind.
Mike, if I could ask real quick while you're working there.
Yeah.
So are you leaving the audio for the radio components intact?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you mute that?
Well, that doesn't seem to be an issue.
How do you mute?
What the best way to do it, what I found is if you do get any interference, normally the MP3 player will just override anything coming in from the radio. But what I do is just take and put the radio in a quiet place between stations.
Gotcha.
But I've never had an issue with it having a lot of interference, so it seems to play just fine, hooking it up and having the radio coming off the second IF and the detector circuit feeding the volume control. That's what I'm trying
So
to
Mike, while you're in there soldering, can I give Cliff a little bit of a heads up of what you're doing?
Yeah.
So Cliff, we have a choice when we introduce this auxiliary audio through an unbalanced connection into the radio. We can either come in where the detector feeds off into the volume control, which would be at the positive end, which kind of combines it with the flow, and you do need to take the radio station kind of off. My choice most of the time is to take that feed and go directly into the center tap of the volume control. So you're going in beyond the volume control, where the volume control actually has no function at all. You can turn it up a little bit, but what that allows you to do is it makes the device that you're using, which most of the time turns out to be a smartphone, it gives you the volume control on the phone. So you not only have a choice of what you feed it through the phone, but you also can control the volume. That becomes even more important when somebody decides that audio feed is going to be a Bluetooth receiver. Then it's really nice to have you volume control on your remote and not have to get up and diddle with it on the radio. So I usually take it in through the center tap of the volume control, right directly.
So you say
the first audio.
You say center tap, but he had said the wiper.
Center tap and wiper are the same thing.
Well, then what happens when you turn the volume control down on the radio? Doesn't that short it to ground?
No.
No,
Isn't one side of your pot going to ground?
No, you can bring the volume control up just slightly in some cases, but most of those do not go to ground anyway. It's not an AK with a RF control. These have to be a true audio control.
Okay.
And then here's the last thing I do once I get this soldered in. Here's the device soldered into the wiper right there. I don't know if you can see how well you can see that. And then the last thing I like to do, I've done the same thing on the power cord, is I like to put a zip tie on the power cord. And that way you're not going to be pulling against here if somebody accidentally pulls on the cord or tries to jerk it, that type of thing. So I usually use a smaller one. Oops, wrong way. A smaller one for these stereo cords. And then kind of get it where it's going to be, and then leave some slack here, you know, so that way you're not going to be in danger of pulling against that. You know, like to pull it pretty hard so it's going to be tight on there and not slip. There we go. And grab these over here and cut that off. And okay.
So Mike, that's just a strain relief then?
Pretty
basically?
dang simple.
That's a strain relief then, right? So he doesn't pull that out.
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds like
it seems to be working. Okay, now let me set this down. It's lucky, you know, I didn't have to pull the speaker out of the radio because it's got a long cord on it. So I left the speaker just hooked up here, and that way when I go, I can just put the chassis back in the radio and be all done. Okay, there. And plug that in. Now I've got it on, and to kind of show what happens too, because I've got this on standard broadcast right now. This radio has standard broadcast and police shortwave, okay? And so let me see if you can see the radio right there. I think you can. And I'll go ahead, let me shut this off. That's a little better. And I'll turn it on. It's facing away from you guys. I don't know. I doubt if I can. I probably can't turn it around because the speaker's going into the cabinet right there.
General living conditions. These are valid concerns expressed by decent and patriotic citizens.
Oh, good. Just what we wanted. More politics. Let's see.
The unclean state. Balance within a team.
Now that's 750, and usually you can find a pretty good quiet place between 750 and 620. It's a pretty wide area. There are some channels at night you'll pick up out of Seattle and places like that. So that's pretty quiet right there. You get a little bit of residual hum. And here's this here, and then this is what my MP3 is a Valuan, and I'll go ahead and turn it on, and there we go. Let's see if I can get some songs on here. There we go. Should be playing. That is Benny Goodman.
Good choice.
Okay.
You did a nice job there, Mike.
Okay, thanks, Robbie. If I unplug it and let me see, let me get it just for experimentation.
Hurt. Harris LeVert. He's now a Pacer. The Brooklyn Nets may not have the same
that's
type
on
of depth. I
750.
thought they would have been
Just for-
perfectly fine with the
See what
roster they
happens.
started.
Yeah, it overpowers it. So no, I I can hear a little in the back, a little bit of the station in the background. So it doesn't take it all out. So that's why it's important to, there you go, you move it off the station, especially a strong station like that. Then all you get is just the music. Okay, that's it. Any questions?
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah,
What kind of output tube is in your Philco?
I believe it's a 42.
42?
Check
Okay.
that. Yeah, it's a
Preceded by something.
single-ended 42.
It makes it 42 or 47 or something like that is what it should be, or a 27 even. I make Benny Goodwin sound pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, no, it's a 42, Lyles, power Pinto,
Okay.
single-ended. This is just a 5-tube transformer set. So,
But I'll bet it's got a first audio in front of it.
oh yeah, it does. It's got a 75, which is a dual diode triode, a dual tube detector,
Right.
and first
But
audio.
your audio is going through that tube as well.
Yes, it is. Because the wiper off the volume control feeds right into the grid of that 75 and on out. Now this radio here, I wanted to show you that real quick.
That's looking good over here.
Mm-hmm.
And the same setup, let me see if you guys can see that or not. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, but here's the ground wire, and I got it going right down, right between the two filter caps to B minus right there, rather on an AC/DC, and that's the only difference when you hook one of these up. And that's it.
So when you,
Mike, I
when
had
you-
one question.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just ground out the antenna on the older Zenith, or was it Philco? Sorry,
The Philco? Yeah, I imagine
Yeah,
you could. And, you know, they made switches and that type of thing. I know for some of the sets that were all that you see, some of them that already have like an RCA jack in the back for phono, that type of thing. And there'll be a switch, you know, you can switch it over to phono. And some of them, they used like a band switch in the front, but it's not a band switch, but it's a switch of that type. Or some of them just use a little toggle switch in the back of the chassis for that too. And then, yeah, you can always do that. Or the easy thing to do is just come along like right here, you know, and then just go like this and then disconnect the antenna. And that works too. And that might be the easiest choice on this when you're going to play your MP3, just disconnect the antenna. So
Yeah, if you've got a band
Yeah, I just
switch
thought
on it,
that-
that's a good tool too.
Yeah, I just
What was
thought
that,
because
Blake?
they have a separate wire connection for the antenna, that it would be easy to ground it out.
yeah, you could actually do it right here. Pretty darn easy with a wire and a couple of alligator clips, or you don't even need the alligator clips. These are fan stells. And here's your ground. I don't know, can you see that? It's got a ground right here on the chassis. You take a wire from here and go right over to the antenna right here. That makes it easy.
Yeah. So quick question too, probably to Blake. Blake, if this was an AC/DC set, no transformer, are you worried at all about taking the grounded side of that 1/4-inch jack or 1/4-inch plug and tying it to chassis and having it kind of in the outside world?
Well, first of all, don't go to chassis. Go to B minus. Occasionally, B minus and chassis are one and the same.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason we put the capacitors on the end of the cord there, is to keep any residual B plus from crawling through that. Now, there is the chance that you could have some B minus crawl through the shield and get into your device. But in my experience, using B minus instead of chassis and using those capacitors affords a pretty good bit of safety.
Okay. I was just thinking of a little bit of you're plugging it into the device and you got your fingers on the end of that.
Yeah, absolutely not UL listed.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you.
Yes. But it is working. That's a good point, Cliff. That would have been easiest just to eliminate. I didn't think about it because a lot of the radios have either built-in antennas, not all of them, like everyone knows. And of course, on the older sets like this, where you have this the external antenna lead, that's really easy. You just go ahead and disconnect it. Is probably about the easiest thing to do. And then if you really want to ground it out, all you got to do is go from the antenna lead over here to the ground lead right there on the chassis, and you ground the antenna out, and then you're not going to have any RF coming in at all. And you can listen to your Benny Goodman or whatever you've got on there, Elvis or whatever you want, so. But anyway.
That's unless you live near me, where you got 50,000 watts a half mile to the south and another 50,000 miles a mile away from you to the east. You're just sitting in this RF suit.
So Mike?
Yeah.
What do we do if we're Cliff Tuttle and all we've got is Atwater Kent's and the newest radio you've got is an 84, which doesn't have a 75, pushing that 47 in the end?
It's like, for instance, if you're talking about a radio that is using the antenna for the volume control.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it. But what about the fact that I've got a radio, if you see in the back here, this is an Atwater Kent 84.
Yeah.
It's a nice 5-tube radio, but it has a detector, which is a 24A, which plays right straight into a 47 amplifier. Philco had this, many others had this early on. We don't have enough oomph coming out of our MP3 player to power it directly through into the 47. We got to have something else in there. And so I list that as a caveat. There are a number of different ways to go. I didn't plan on going into that unless somebody really wants to dig into it. But you really have to be sure that when you put one of these on the radio, that the radio has enough tubes and enough amplification to make it work.
Yeah.
This 84 on its own, you can't do what you just did.
Right.
One, because it's got the volume control. I think the volume control in an 84 is in the audio circuit, but you can't do it if you've got an RF type of control right off of the antenna for your volume control. And you usually can't do it when the only amplifier tube you have is a single 47.
Oh, that's true, Blake. You're right.
Oh, yeah. That is right, because you have to have a first.
So beware.
Audio.
This works 90% of the time, but like most of our little tricks, there's always caveats, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Like this, the Model 70. I've got a Model 70 here, and I'm not even going to attempt to hook that up. I wouldn't unless, you'd have to do some other stuff. Maybe you can elaborate on that if you want to, but it has the antenna in the. The volume control is right on the antenna, and it's a dual volume control on these 70s, and Model 20s, I believe, which are TRF, are the same way. And let me get my picture up here. There we go. Anyway, and it operates on the volume control, and also it changes the bias on the grids of the tubes by hooking that second part of the volume control. It's a dual volume control up in the cam dome of the radio, where it is hooked to the grids of the let's see, I think it's everything except the audio output and the rectifier. So it's all the tubes in front of that, and probably not it's got a separate oscillator, so I don't think it's controlling the bias on that. But you're basically controlling the bias on the amplification of the signal, and also you're controlling the input on the antenna at the same time on those radios. And I don't know of any way to do this to that kind of setup.
Yeah, just finished one, and I didn't do that to it.
So there's some of them that are not built like the normal radio where you have a first audio slash detector, or it doesn't have to be that way. It can just can have a separate detector in first audio, but you just need a first audio to amplify the signal into the audio output to be able to do it.
Blake, could you use like a phonograph amplifier? That they have those external phonograph amplifiers that, so you plug in your MP3 player to a photograph amplifier, then take the photograph amplifier into that.
Yeah, possibly that's going to cost you $30, and you'll find that they actually have too much amplification. The radio has a problem with feedback. If you'd like to see my solution.
Oh, you have a solution. I should have known you had a solution.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that'd be great.
So, yeah, this is my solution, and it has one of these in it, and it has one of these in it.
Oh, there we go.
So I actually use a modern day preamp module with a modern day power supply, and I drive 120 from the primary side, and that powers the preamp, and then I take it wherever I need to go. Generally, if it's a 47 or 46 or 45, I typically will take it into the grid, or often on a 47, it works better if you take it in through the cathode. But that's the workaround for that. But it's not insignificant.
So, Blake, can you use a transformer?
You could, but again, the transformer probably won't give you enough amplification. That certainly allow you to do a balanced input, which will give you more drive. And if you use like a 3-to-1, you could probably get some amplification out of it. But it's typically still not quite enough.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a push-pull audio output, like say a push-pull 45s, and then you have a interstage transformer, would you want to hook that to the primary of the transformer, and then you'd be driving the two push-pulls at that point, or where would you hook it up in that type of a radio?
You need to be cognizant of where the B plus is coming in, and I would probably bring it in, if I could, into the detector tube and try to push it through that way.
Yeah, because your plate, that's feeding the plate of the driver tube. So yeah, you're right. No, you wouldn't want to go there.
These little guys here are all 5 volts. They don't like much more than about 8 or 9, and they start emitting smoke.
You might get some smoke there.
I'll tell you what, these things, I'll hold it up to the camera, but that's the front. The back, and these are not insignificant. There's quite a bit of work that goes into building the little power supplies.
There is.
There's nothing to the little preamp is just a little guy, but there's some wiring and often some pads that have to go in there to get the gain characteristic right. When you do get them right, they're wonderful.
Oh, great.
Could you almost get enough voltage off of the cathode bias or the biasing network?
You can. There's more than enough to do that, but my experience has been it hums like the devil.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yep. So the power supply not only has its own filtering, it's a little switching supply, and there is one external cap I put in it to get any noise down, but it's nice because it isolates any of the noise in the radio from the power coming out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, that's good. You don't have to disconnect the antenna.
No.
Oh, cool. Very, very cool. So let me put this away. Anyway, this is oh, by the way, and if anybody else was interested, this is just a charging cord. It's pretty simple. It just plugs into the MP3, and then this USB goes into the computer, and that's how you charge it.
Say, Mike. What was the value of the 2 caps on the pigtail?
Oh yeah, I like to use the .02s. Yeah, thanks, Mark. I forgot to mention that.
And I would say anything between 0.02 and 0.05 work just fine. These are not real high fidelity devices
Yeah,
anyway.
it's not real critical that way. You could put .047s in there and probably be just fine. Hey, Pat.
Hey, yeah, Mike. Hey, what is the voltage ratings on those caps then?
The what now?
The voltage.
They're 630.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
1.2 kV worked just fine too, though. If you got any of those laying around.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, Mike. What were you saying?
No, that's right. Yeah, no, they're 630 volt at 0.02.
They're reinventing WRNO.
How are you doing, John?
Oh, hey, Brian. Good.
Great.
Sorry, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of the vendors now that sell caps online and stuff, they just sell 630s and be done with it.
Mike?
Yeah.
John Livingston has joined us. I told him we were reinventing WRNO as WRNZ.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's hi, John.
And you know what he told me?
What?
You know what he asked me?
Yeah.
What's WRNO? I forget. We have folks in the club that haven't been here for 20 years.
That's right. That's right. That don't remember the WRNO and what it means.
But
so
WRNZ is a whole bunch of people getting together on Zoom and talking about radios. And Mike tonight taught everybody how to do an MP3 jack.
Oh, okay.
Good stuff.
Should have been here.
Yeah, that was fun.
And no smoke.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I missed?
What?
I missed the coffee and the crumpets and treats that Sid Saul's wife used to make. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I know. My goodness sakes, that was always a treat. And we'd get over there and of course I live in Beaverton, and I'd get over there and get to Blake's when they were starting about 7 and have snacks and a soda, whatever, and then start working on radios and talking to people and not get out of there until like 11 o'clock and not get home until sometime after midnight, you know. And, and that was when I had a job. So then I had to get up the next morning on Thursday and go to work. But
yeah, why do you think I had it at my house?
It was worth it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this place didn't clear out sometimes until 1 o'clock in the morning. And two of the people that came down almost always was Rick Ryan, came down from Kaiser, and Debbie Hillman, who, by the way, named WRNO.
Really?
And I'll tell you how the guy's name in just a minute. But she came down from Castle Rock, and she seldom missed a session.
That's right. I remember. She was always there.
But our editor at the time, Rick Walton, came to see what it was all about. He kept hearing about it, and he says every time that he'd go to a club meeting, 2 or 3 more people had discovered it. And so he came over and he says, well, if I put this in the newsletter, we got to have a name for it. What do you call this? And Debbie Hillman spun around in the chair and she says, well, I call it Wednesday Radio Night Out. And that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
It stuck.
Yeah, that's perfect.
For 11 years, we piled people in this garage.
I remember, I think it was back when Dick Bixler was the president, and we were having like a board meeting over there on Elmer's on Stark Street off of 205. And I talked everybody to come up to Blake's for the WRNO, you know, after the board meeting, and we all showed up, but we didn't get there until about like 9-10 o'clock. And then I had to get Bixler home, you know, before it got too late. Because I went and picked him up, so he was riding with me, and that was another episode that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Tom Hoskins and Rick Ryan always came together, and
yeah,
you know, there were an awful lot of good times. I think the last one we had, there were 32 people here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sid had to bring two sets of snacks and an extra pot of coffee.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Hey, Blake.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember when I used to work there, come up on Wednesday nights, I'd always get a hold of some of those radios and pre-test them so you could fix them on the bench. That
Oh, yeah.
kind of saved you a little bit of time.
Yeah. And I remember the one thing you said a lot to me. You said, Blake, I need some more 0.1s at 600. I think you said that every other time you came over.
That I'd always use a lot of them. Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. And all your 20s and 10s, microfarad. Yeah. Use a lot of those.
It was a good thing because I started being able to buy those in huge lots, which saved everybody money. But for those of you that have never been here, it hasn't changed much. It's a 16-foot workbench with about 2 or 3 work areas. We figured out how to make 8 out of them. And Pat Kodji would often show up with a card table. That was 2 more work areas, and everybody else, they were on the floor.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff going on here.
Fuses with
Oh yeah, we emitted a lot of smoke and tripped a lot of breakers, but we all had a good time.
He was asking. There was a text question come up on my screen about using a Bluetooth receiver and an audio device. I believe. Can't you just hook your Bluetooth receiver up to one of these, Blake?
Oh yeah.
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 You just hook your Bluetooth receiver up to this, plug it in, and then you can play through a Bluetooth player right through the radio.
Yeah, I was looking through my stash here. I know I got a Bluetooth board. They make those too.
It was Mark Lacey was asking a question. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a presentation on those some time ago, and I think it was the TP Link was the one that I liked the best, and they sell them on Amazon. And yeah, you could plug them directly into there. And a lot of people do that. I sell a lot of Bluetooth receivers. I stopped stocking them because they've gotten to where the good ones are $40 or $50 a piece, and
wow,
they can go get their own. But yeah, you just unplug your smartphone, plug it into that one, and the small puck sits on top of the radio, and it has a separate power supply that plugs into the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the one thing I suggest is if you do consider doing Bluetooth, make sure the one you buy has an external power supply that goes with it. A lot of them want you to just plug it into your computer, and we don't use it that way. We don't want a computer within 100 feet of our old radios.
Right. Mine's about 10 inches away from this old radio.
Yeah, but it's usually in the house.
Oh, it usually is in the house. It usually isn't out here.
It works. I have a large 38 15 tube Philco in my family room that I would say that 90% of the time that it's on, it's streaming Bluetooth from an old iPhone that I had, and it's wireless.
Nice.
And the other 10% of the time, it's on Saturday or Sunday night listening to an old radio show on 860.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, the Bluetooth works great.
Hey, Blake, this is Pat. I did a search on the call letters, and it looks like 2008 is the earliest that WRNO is mentioned. Does that sound about right? 2008?
No, it was much before that. I want to guess probably 2004, 2005.
Okay.
But what you have to remember is WRNO was never sanctioned by the club. It was just a few guys, and you should remember, Pat, because I believe you were a charter member. You and Estevan and a handful of others were there from the very beginning. But for the first 2 or 3 years, it was almost every Wednesday, and it was always a handful of us. And when I say handful, of 2, 3, 4 of us. It wasn't until 2008 that it had gained its name, and Rick Walton had published information on it. So it'd been going strong long before that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Just because when I searched for it, I thought there would be an earlier reference, but that's as early as it was 2008.
Yeah. Before that, it wasn't a thing.
think that's better. That fluorescent lamp was shining right into the camera on mine.
Oh, you're looking fine right now.
Yeah, I think it's better. I shut it off. I've got another one here overhead. The one in the background was shining into the. No, that's not on, but it's still shining.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're fine. You
There it
don't
is.
have a lot of reflection on you.
Good. That was better. I should have done that before I started. That's all right.
So
So
there's a Bluetooth board. In fact, you can see through the packaging that there's quite a bit to it as well.
Wow.
But I think that's the one I used in my talk. This has never been hooked up.
So guys, I'm not sure I know the format that you want to use tonight. I do have a couple questions and that I thought I'd throw out to the group. Is this an okay time to bring it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a free-for-all, Cliff.
Okay. So as you guys all know, I'm an Atwater Kent guy. And if you're an Atwater Kent guy, you know all about audio transformers because you don't work on very many of them before you run up against the bad one.
Yeah.
And so reading a lot of stuff, you go buy a replacement, a universal replacement, and you suck the old stuff out and you restuff the can with something new. And the literature that I've been reading had all suggested this very specific transformer out of Antique Radio. And it turns out it works good, but I ran into something that I think I have an explanation for, but I thought I'd run it by you and see if it makes sense. So it's a center tap transformer. It's rated at 3-to-1, which is what all the original Atwater Kents were, the interstage audios. And I went ahead and hooked it up to the on the output on the secondary to the outside windings, leaving the center tap unused to replace the process. And you use two of them in most Atwater Kents. There's two audio transformers used there. And I got quite a bit of distortion the first time I tried it. And it finally dawned on me perhaps what was going on was that grid leak detector requires a certain voltage level out of it or into it, I guess, to actually have the detector work. That's why the 3 RF sections ahead of it so often to get enough voltage to actually get the detector to detect properly. But the output of it is pretty finely tuned, and they use the 3-to-1 transformers apparently for audio amplification to augment the process. And it's all kind of balanced. And when they talk about this 3-to-1, I think what they really mean is that for a push-pull application, it would be 3-to-1. But that really means you want to go from the center tap to one side, not to the two sides of the output. So I went back and rewired them all so that I had less gain, if you will, in my audio section. Had what I thought was then the normal 3-to-1 uptick through each of the transformers, and it sounds far, far better. But I didn't know if that was a logical explanation for what I ran into. That's why I'm bouncing it off you.
I have had that. I've had that same experience with that same transformer.
Okay.
That's the one with the two green wires and the black wire in the center, like a T931 or something from Antique Electronic Supply.
Yeah. Yes.
I've had the same. That would be interesting. It would be interesting to measure the ohmic value between the primary and the secondary based on half of it or all of it in floating center tap.
Okay. I'll play with that a little bit and see.
Yeah, but I've experienced that very same thing.
Okay.
Sounds like maybe impedance matching is the issue.
I just think I was overdriving it. There's very little really that's impedance critical, I think. I mean, the circuit is, I don't know whether you'll ever be able to see it over the, yeah, I doubt very much you'd be able to see any of the circuitry there.
Yeah, we can see it.
Actually,
Yeah.
we can.
If I can hold it very steady, I hands shake more these days than they used to. But
Yeah, you're right. It's just 4 wires, 2 in and 2 out. So Cliff, have you checked to see what the ohmic value is by going to from the primary to just the center tap and 1 outside lead?
well, certainly it's half of the ohmic value going across the whole transformer. So
Mhm.
certainly, as you
Yeah,
would
I
expect.
know.
And it
I know,
is-
but I mean, what the difference is from the
So-
primary to what the difference is to the wiring it up the way you did using the center tap rather than going to the 2 outside leads. You know, is it still on DC ohmic value? Is it still 3 to 1 or?
I'd have to go back and look to be certain. Now it's interesting, 3 to 1 audio is obviously not just ohmic, right?
No, it's not. Yeah, you're right. It's AC impedance, so it's a whole different deal. Yeah.
But I'll go down, actually, I could do some, put in an audio signal into it and take an evaluation of how much increase I get. So I'll look into that a little bit.
Okay. I was just curious myself on that.
Sounds like me and 9 minutes driven.
But as long as it's fixed, that's great.
Yeah. I've used it a few times now, and that technique seems to solve my problem.
Getting tired.
I should put this radio back together now that I've got that in there.
Hello, Mike.
Yes.
I'm right in the process of doing the same thing you did, putting a wire in that center tap of my volume control. I'm using my Stromberg Carlson 12-tube console
Yeah.
to put that lead in there. I've got an M3 player too, so
Oh, good.
this console's got a great big 12-inch speaker in it.
Uh-huh.
So music got to sound real good. When
I bet it would. I bet it would really sound really good.
Because this thing has got 2 6L6s in it
Uh-huh.
for
Yeah.
output.
Right.
Yeah,
What kind of console is that? A Zenith or?
It's a Stromberg Carlson.
Well, Stromberg Carlson. Yeah, that's what you said.
It should sound fine.
It should sound really good, Robbie.
That's the one with the labyrinth.
Yeah, that's the one with all the cardboard in the back of it. Yeah, you take that cardboard and everything out, it doesn't sound good at all.
It's
I just
cardboard.
finished.
I thought it was more solid material.
It's all cardboard with
Huh.
a big, looks like a honeycomb thing inside of it.
I worked on I can't remember the name of it.
Audiola.
No, I finished that one up. I did put one in that because that had a regular volume control. So Spartan, I was trying to think of Spartan. I did an 18 tube Spartan. Well, actually, Blake and I actually both worked on that radio, and he did one chassis, I did the other, and then I assembled it and I put one of those in there. And man, that has it has 3 speakers in it, and that thing sounded really good, with an MP3 running through it.
Yeah, Dean Terry just got his 18-tube Stromberg Carlson with a labyrinth back from me. He's pretty stoked about the way it sounds. That radio had a motor in it that, of all things, changed the band switch. The tuning was manual, big knob. You turned it on the front of the radio, but when you switched from band to band to band, it had a great big old motor in there, just like the one they used in the Detroit Egyptians. And anyway, you changed the band.
Oh, I'll be darned. Yeah, I did a Zenith chairside And I think Dave Pidrebecki ended up with that radio, and I went through and restored it, and it had one of those motors for the to change the tuning on it.
Yep.
You know, and they were pretty cool once you get them working good. You know, that thing was just
The Zenith one. Yeah, Zenith was pretty simple. The ones that they put in the Detrola Egyptians and in the Stromberg Carlson was a pretty good sized motor. It also had a set of gears in it that drove everything. The Zenith it was a motor that drove a belt that drove a pulley anyway.
Yep. Yeah, it was geared down enough so the motor had enough strength to move everything. Mm-hmm. So, and if you, there's quite a setup.
And Zenith was smart. They used 120 volts. The Egyptian and the Stromberg Carlson, that motor is an 18-volt motor, so it had to have a separate winding on the power transformer.
Oh wow! Oh really? Is that what they did? Oh my gosh! I just thought assumed it was 120 volt. Wow.
No, 18.
Huh.
Yeah. In the last Egyptian I worked on, I actually had to source an 18-volt transformer and put it in there. 12 and 13 would not work, and a 24 was not a good thing either. It really needed to be 18.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Speaking of remote controls and stuff, remember the Philcos that had that magic box?
Yeah.
Oh, the mystery box.
The mystery box, yeah.
Mystery box, yeah. I had one of those a long time ago.
It's quite a setup. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah. But you can't be too far away from the radio though, because like
really, I've never used one, so I was curious about how those things worked. I'd seen them before.
Yeah, it's got a little dial on it. You just dial and it just does everything. It's got the controls on it. Yeah.
Great.
Pretty slick.
That's pretty neat.
It was battery operated.
That's a beautiful cabinet.
Yeah, it had.
What kind of batteries did it take?
I think it was. I don't remember the voltage on that.
Like a 6 volt maybe or something, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
I did some Philcos that had the shadow meter, but and that was just a device for tuning. It was kind of strange the way it worked, but it would just let the light come in, and then when you had that thing hooked up to where when I believe it was on the AVC like a tuning eye tube. And then when you'd get it tuned into the station, then that thing would just close, and then close the light coming in through that shadow meter. And it was an interesting device. It's something Philco they came out with. They had in quite a few of their sets.
Yeah, a mechanical tuning eye.
Yeah, I think it was. It was a mechanical tuning eye is what it was, Robbie.
I ran into another radio years ago. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it had a chrome chassis on it.
Yeah.
And it had the for tuning the tuning band, it had a rotisserie thing on it with a 35 millimeter film in it.
Oh wow! No kidding.
Too much of that.
Yeah, it had
I've never heard of that one before.
It had a bulb inside of that rotisserie thing.
Yeah.
And sounds like a Scott.
And you just it was manual tuning though. It wasn't electric. You just
was it a Scott? Was it a Scott radio?
No.
No, it's just somebody else had a chrome chassis then, huh?
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but that thing was pretty slick,
Oh, I'll bet.
Just light up that film, but you had to have the right light bulb. If you had a bulb that was too strong, it burned the film.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I had that for quite a while, but I sold that to Snyder.
This is a battery set.
Oh, okay.
So the film rotated then as you tuned
Oh, a
things in?
second. I'll be right there.
Yeah, it was a big circular film. It had all the stations on it, even had the shortwave stations on it.
Really? No kidding. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but I had it for about 2-3 years, and then I sold it to Snyder.
Hope that worked.
doing pretty well here.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
What are you working on, bro?
in another station of for the church.
Oh, those are really beautiful.
What are you working on over there, John?
More record players.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. That's great. Yeah, those are nice.
Mostly 50s record players.
Yeah.
45s as well as
Yeah, like the little 45 RPM record players, or
yeah, and some like 4-speed automatics too.
oh, okay, cool.
Mostly
Yeah.
RCA and Zenith.
RCA and Zenith.
Yeah.
I've got one over here as a oh, I can't think of the name of it.
How's it going?
Oh, it's in fact, I did one console, one of those brands of it was a stereo, big long stereo, and it was about a 5-foot long unit, one of those low boys from the 50s. Oh, hi Brian, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, doing pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. We're over here. I got the computer out in my shop, and we're doing a demonstration on hooking stuff up. So it's working out pretty good.
Great.
Yeah.
Have you been showing Dad that ray you've got right there?
Yeah.
How it works?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I was hooking one of these wires up like this, Brian, to it.
Yeah.
So you can play your MP3 player through it. So
yeah.
Anyway,
Dad
that was
has the same. Dad has the same cabinet as you've got there.
Yeah, this one here. This is a Philco.
Yeah.
And I wish I could turn it around. I don't know if I can. The cabinet's pretty nice on this one. I might be able to.
Nice.
If I hold it out and turn the chassis around a little bit, maybe I can get it.
Kind of similar.
That does look good, Mike.
But yeah, I'm stretching it out a little bit. Anyway, yeah, there it is. There it is. That's a Philco 60.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's at least what it looks like. So
that's
anyway,
nice.
I gotta turn it around again. Stretching the speaker cord out a little. Not bad. I just getting it. So I can turn it around.
You don't want to have to replace that.
Yeah, no, that was nice. That come out nice. So
yeah.
But anyway, there, that thing fixed. Yeah, I'll have to put that back together now. That's all ready to go. So I can advertise it. It has having the MP3 player or external device in the radio. So you can hook Bluetooth in or MP3 or whatever you want to hook into it.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
A CD player will work in that, won't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. CD players will work in these too. I neglected to mention that, and that was the first thing I used when I first started putting these in. I didn't have an MP3 player, and then Blake said if I got one, he went and downloaded a whole bunch of music on it for me. So a bunch of old big band music and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice, especially when you go to the swap meets and stuff like that. You have that stuff playing on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing, is hooking my CD player up to the Strumper Carlson. And,
yeah, try that one. They work out pretty good. I have one of those small units, and they're kind of simple to use, and it's a round case, and it's just a little bit bigger than the CD itself. I think it's over here, and they work great. Yeah, here it is. It's kind of dusty, but it's one of these guys,
little portable ones, huh?
Yeah, and you turn it on. You got to put batteries in it. You turn it on, and it'll play right through one of these radios. Just great,
Okay.
So I haven't used it for a while. I've been using the MP3 player instead, but yeah, they work out just fine.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
Anyway.
I see somebody there working on a turntable.
I think that's what John's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one I'm working on too. Mine's a Roscoe.
Oh, John, by the way, I remembered that was a Voice of Music is that one record player I've got.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they make good stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Yeah. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I might want to sell it. I'll
go step back.
I think it may
I'll
need
go out
some
and sit back.
work. I can't remember.
You're not bothering me. Well, if that has sound on. Oh, won't bother you.
Hello, Richard.
Hi.
Hi, Mark.
Well, it looks like it's daylight over there yet.
Yeah, it's here. It's yeah, you can look in the background here in a second. Getting towards sunset time. Actually, I go up in the back. I don't know if the let's see. Yeah, it's cloudy above, but being nice pretty sunset here pretty quick.
Wow, where are you, California?
Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii.
Oh, no wonder. No wonder.
True.
I'm just getting myself set up here. So
We had a big rainstorm here yesterday and last night. We made a big mess everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he's listening to Seattle radio. He's here, and they had a lot of wind up there, I guess, too, huh?
They had a lot of flooding. Yeah, the Highway 84 out of Portland, east of there, they had landslides. I had to clear that out today.
Yeah, how bad is that landslide? I heard about it, but I have no idea what the extent was.
A lot of rocks that came down the hillside, but they cleared it all out, and the freeway's open now.
Okay.
Yeah, but that street up there on Burnside, west of Portland, on Burnside Road, that's all blocked. They're still working on that, clearing the power lines and the trees and everything else.
Oh, wow. Nice, Robbie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see this. See if I can line it up.
Yeah.
That's a picture of Nehalem this afternoon.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Holy cow.
Keep it there, Cliff. I can blow it up here. Look at it. Let's see.
That is amazing.
Oh, that looks like it's pretty flooded there, huh? Yeah.
It is. That's right on 101, just down the road from us, about 2 miles.
Yeah, you guys got about 5 inches of rain, didn't you?
Yeah, something like that in the last 2 days. Yeah. Lots of water. Lots of water.
Let's see if I can figure this out. Oh, host, you want to allow sharing?
Hey, John, what kind of record player are you working on?
These are all like early 1950s RCA little 45 players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just inherited 2 radio station commercialized record players.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
Bruce.
talked on the phone a little bit about that. You were telling me about that. That sounds really nice.
Yeah, they're 3-speed Roscoe.
Okay.
And
yeah, I'd like to see that sometime.
I need to get both of the idler wheels replaced because they're starting to get little bumps in them.
Did that
Right.
come through?
Oh, yeah. What in the world?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was the guy who talked to you on the phone the other day and told you where you can get those.
Oh, this is Bruce Bauer's screen.
Yeah, he's going to share something.
So is
Oh, okay. You're sharing
Paul
something.
there?
Cool. Nice.
so did the falls show up?
Yeah, you got the files on there, Bruce.
Okay, it showed up. Okay, good enough.
Are you gonna click on one or
Oh, it didn't come through?
just your whole files?
Yeah, the big page.
Yeah.
All right, so how do I get this?
There you go. Now just click on the one you want to show us.
Okay. So is that not showing?
Oh no. We're just seeing your whole file page.
Lots of little pictures.
Huh. I don't know why clicking on that.
Or thumbnails, I guess they call it.
It doesn't bring it up to the top. Okay. It's a movie of the falls this afternoon, Willamette Falls. But I guess I'm not going to figure out how to get it up there.
Can you start it and then close the file picture after you start it?
Okay.
Willamette Falls must have been really going.
Well, let me try a picture rather than a movie. So did that come up?
Nope.
Nope. Now close that
Probably-
page.
Did what now?
Now close
Probably
your
a
file
different
page.
window. Yeah.
Did that do any good?
Nope, it's still up. Still your thumbnails are up.
Okay, so how do I get to the thumbnail? Let's see.
So minimize your video and then close your whole other page and then bring up your video.
Does he need to drag his video onto the desktop and start it maybe?
Yeah, that would help too, and it should start it. Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna drag it onto the desktop.
And then close this page, and it should default to that video.
Oh, it's sharing stopped now.
Now, yeah, try to share it now after you close that one. Because you have the video up, right?
Well, let's try that.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Wow, nice. Very nice.
Okay, let me thumb through here.
Where is the falls?
Wow.
There is no
There is-
falls.
Oh yeah.
Just a big river.
Now the salmon can go upstream, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's
You don't have
neat.
to use the
It
ladders.
is neat.
Yeah. No falls, just one big, huge river.
Okay, so can I still get the video?
Trying to go back to the video.
Let's see, how do I minimize?
Double lock, double lock, double lock.
There you go.
Jeez Louise. Where did it all go?
Too many buttons to push.
Too many buttons to push.
Too many options.
You
need to share.
Well,
That.
hell with the video for now. Sorry.
Well, it was good what you showed.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, that's nice,
Yeah.
Bruce.
We'll have to figure out how to run things here better.
Practice, right?
Practice, yeah. So it seems like you got to flip in and out to actually display what you want.
So come on. Oh, if you want, sure. Go ahead, turn them on.
Don't everybody talk at once now.
Okay. Hey, Richard.
You mean Mark?
I mean, Mark. Mark. Have you seen Liebert lately?
No, I haven't seen him for a long time because he's on the other side of the island. That's like about 2.5 hours away.
Oh, I didn't think that was that far away.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours to where he lives at. He's on the west side of the island. It's roughly about 75 miles across the across the island. Plus, he's almost exactly opposite. You have to go north, cross over to Saddle, over between the two mountains, and then back down south on the east side.
Oh, okay. I haven't looked on the map to see where. Uh-oh.
He's over south of Hilo. Warren knows where that's at, I think.
Okay. I'm gonna have to stop here a minute. My some reason my battery's showing low battery here. Be right back.
Okay.
I might try this again. Trying to
Go
learn.
for it, Bruce.
Trying to learn. No? Ah, okay.
Now you got a screen share.
Now where's the share button here? Did that not go?
Nope.
That's better.
You're going in the background here. Now I can't even find it.
I got this thing together so you can look at it a little better. Getting some glare off that light. I don't know. Oh, well. Maybe it's off the computer. I don't know.
So is that glare or have you got a smudge on your lens?
I don't know. Maybe on my camera, maybe it's got a smudge on it. I don't know, Bruce.
Yeah,
See
it
how-
looks like a smudge.
See mine? How I got a light over the camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
It gets
No.
really grayish. That's what it looks like in the middle of yours.
Yeah. It might be. I don't know. It sure could be.
yeah, on the right side of your radio, there's a smudge.
Yeah, I know it. And I think that's not on the radio.
No.
I think it's, see how, yeah, it's a light or a glare.
Like a
from the
glare on
light.
your camera lens.
It's on the camera lens or something.
Mhm.
You think it's just dirt on there or something, or just it looks to me like more like a glare.
Yeah, glare.
I don't know.
Kind of looks like a thumbprint.
Yeah,
Hey, Mike,
right.
try rotating it.
Yeah, or your camera. Tilt your camera down.
It's, oh, you mean like this way or?
So it does follow your lens.
That's on your camera lens.
Yeah, it's on your
That's a
that's on your camera.
smudge. It hasn't
Yeah.
moved.
Moving. It's moving.
But the camera lens is about, I don't know, about less than 1/4 of an inch in diameter. I suppose if I got something in white.
Did you lick it, Mike?
Huh?
Did you lick it? Is that? Oh, this
What's
joke.
that?
Just get an old rag and wipe it off.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Like if you got a lens
Can I use a new
rag for your
rag?
camera. I mean, for your eyeglasses.
Yeah, I've got some of those inside the house, but I don't have any out here.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that helped.
It's still on there.
That's better.
Is it?
It's a little bit better, yeah.
A little better. Well, maybe it changed it. I don't know. Let me get a paper towel on it.
Well, you
It'll
know,
probably ruin it or something.
That might scratch it if it's got a coating on the lens.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you think
wouldn't
it'll
use a
scratch
paper
it?
towel. I wouldn't use a paper towel, Mike.
I'll wait. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
I'll wait and I'll use one of those lens cleaners inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get it in there. I'm not gonna worry about it right now.
It just makes it look colorful.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it does look better, Mike. It's clear.
Okay,
Maybe a reflection,
so
but
it made a change. So anyhow. There.
Yeah. I think that reflection's coming off the left side of your face there. On video.
Well, it's the light. I think it's because my light is right up here. So I got a fluorescent lamp. And so that's where that's the glare off the light is hitting this side of my face, you know. When I'm running this thing like the Zoom meetings, you know, on Saturdays, I got the computer inside the house and I don't have that problem. So
Okay.
I think it's because I'm out here in the shop.
Why don't you move up forward and get in front of your radio?
Like
No,
this.
that didn't change it.
Yeah.
Still the same.
no, I think it's a lot clearer. There's a little reflection, but it's a lot clearer.
See, if I go like that, then it shines it right into that light. That light's right there.
Yep.
Put your hand over the above the lens.
Like a shade.
And shade it close to the camera like that.
Oh, close to the camera.
Yeah, right over. Yeah, that cleans it up, I think. Yeah, see?
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
You're right, Mark. Yeah, that worked.
It is glare then.
I'll have to build like a hood thing over the top of it or something.
Yeah.
Now you put your cap over it there. The bill will cover the lens, right?
Yeah.
The bill of your cap. Put it over there.
Yeah, maybe I'll put that on there. Yeah, I got a schematic. I'll lay that schematic over there. That worked.
Much better.
Yeah, kind of like the old tuning eyes used to have covers on them.
Right.
A hood, huh?
And the old Radiola 17s had that hood that would always get lost, you know.
Broken, right?
Over the pilot lamp.
Too far.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
I think you have a ghost sitting on your radio.
Something, yeah. Like Rosanna Dana, she always used to say, you know, it's always something. If it's not one thing, it's another.
You know, the same glare on your radios is on your glasses.
Yeah.
I think it's coming from the
Oh, it
computer.
is. Well, yeah, they have that UV coating on them too, so that might be shining up. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it.
No, the color is fine.
Yeah. So anyhow, well, I took, I was telling Robbie, I was over at Robbie's today. I was telling Robbie, I took a couple speakers over to Ron at JMac, and he's running into some difficulty doing some of the older field coil speakers. This with the small voice coils in them, because he can't get those voice coils anymore. And he was wanting to, his idea was to see if we could machine those out. And Blake took one over to Tom Marshall and he was able to cut it out a little bit, but I don't know if that's going to work that well. Because the new voice coils that he has are thicker wall thickness on them, and they don't want to go down into the between the
pole pieces,
the pole and the outer diameter in there, and it hangs up because it's not the right size.
Do you need to like turn it out, or what do you need to do to fix it, Mike?
Well, we were thinking about, instead of machining the speakers to make it so that new voice coils would fit, winding new voice coils instead. And I think the difference is the size of the wire, or that's what Blake thinks. We were talking about it, in the newer voice coils for like the later model permanent magnet speakers have a little heavier wire. Therefore, when you wind the voice coil, then now that's thicker on the wall thick, and that's where it won't go down in the older speakers. But if you use the real fine wire and wind enough of it on there to get the right ohmage for your voice coil, which is, you know, like on a 4 ohm speaker, those things are usually about 3.5 ohms or something like that, you know, in there. And
When you want to use it, it's going to take you less wire. It's going to, if it's a finer wire, your resistance is going to go up, you know,
yes,
with the same length, right? So
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, you're right, Dave. But that shouldn't matter, you know, as long as you got enough
you got
windings on it.
well,
And,
it's going to be hard to get the resistance and the same number of windings. What number of windings gives you the right
I don't
flux,
think
right?
the number of windings on a voice coil is not critical. I don't think.
That's what gives you magnetic flux.
Well, it's because, well, here's the thing. We were thinking about, and you might be right, or there may be something to all that, but we were going to try and reverse engineer one out of a voice coil out of a field coil speaker.
Sure.
So then you could find out how many turns you'd have and all that, and if you just reverse engineer it.
Because the modern ones are probably engineered for a lot more power nowadays, and they didn't have 20 watts, 40, 50 watts RMS going through the
Well,
thing.
a lot of them are 8 ohm too, you know, instead of 4 ohm. So on some of the real late model stuff.
Yeah, but the older radios, you're looking at, you know, just a few watts probably is typical for an output.
Oh yeah.
So they didn't have the issue of them overheating the coils and stuff like that. I wouldn't think anyway.
Well, that's true. That's true. And if they advertise these things as having all of this huge, tremendous amount of wattage.
And the other thing is, with the smaller windings and they fit into tighter space, that would help offset the number of windings, keep I guess the flux, if that's the right term, since they would be closer tolerance, even though it's higher resistance wire and maybe not as many windings, that because the gaps tighter tolerance, that'll help make up for the lack of a lot of turns on the heavier wire and stuff. I would think that would be the
I would think
case.
so too, yeah.
You're thinking tighter magnetic coupling that way.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, magnetic coupling.
What he said.
It's got to flux that, you know, as your current comes through there, then it against a magnetic either field coil or permanent magnet in there on the pole. The other thing too is on machining those things, you can only machine the field coil speakers. Because if you try to machine the permanent magnet speakers, you're going to have all of that metal filings down in there, and you probably never get it out. That turns into another problem, you know.
Now, if you have trouble finding somebody to wind those, you talk to Jim Barrett. He's a member of the club.
Yeah.
Because Jim can rewind transformers, and he rewinds ignition coils and stuff like that. And he's got, so you know, that might be a resource to talk about that too, possibly.
Well, the voice coils there isn't a whole lot to one of them. I mean, they're pretty simple, and then you're only talking maybe a few turns, nothing at all compared to like a transformer. But so anyway, that's something that we're talking about, trying to see if we can engineer to. There's another item in the radio antique radio world that is getting hard to get.
Yeah. Hello, Mike. I'm going to be closing out now.
Okay, Robbie.
Me too. Blake's leaving.
All right. Yeah, I am too. What time is it? I've got to get in. So
it's about 8:30.
Sounds good. Thanks everybody for showing up.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks for pulling it together.
One thing, Mike,
Oh,
before we go.
Anyway, I was going to say, Mark had another question. Yeah, Mark on Mark Lacey on the capacitors. They are two capacitors in series with the two stereo leads, and then on the other side they are joined together. So you're actually what you're doing is taking the two capacitors, they're 0.02s, and then you join them together on the connection side where they go onto the volume control on the,
So they're
on the wiper.
two in series and then they're in parallel?
No, they're two for each channel of the stereo input coming off of the your connector for your MP3 player, because it's a
You're
stereo
basically
connector.
making it stereo to mono.
You're taking it from stereo and putting it into mono by connecting the two capacitors together. And then you take that single connection there and hook it into the wiper, the volume control.
Okay.
That's how it's done.
All right, thanks.
You bet.
Bruce, can you give me back the host?
Oh,
you hook
how
the,
do I
you
do
hook the
that?
ground to,
Click on my name and then it says make host.
all right. Well, we'll do it again. You want to do this again next Wednesday night?
Sure, sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
You
Sounds
guys
like a
think we
winner.
should schedule
Somebody else
two demonstrations?
Somebody else can demonstrate something.
Should we schedule two?
So Mike, one
Yeah.
thing. So we've only got one speaker guy here in Portland, but what about
Right.
Seattle?
Well, you
Would
know,
he
I
have-
don't know. And I would just imagine, Bruce, if, and of course, now I don't know this, but I'm just guessing, if he's having trouble getting voice coils for field coil speakers or antique speakers that have to be the right size, I would imagine everybody's having trouble getting them, you know.
I suppose. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if that for a fact, but you know, he's got his resources that he buys this stuff, but that's just like that. And some of the other stuff like grill cloth and some of these other things that we're having trouble finding, you know, to do antique radio restorations. And now all of a sudden it's a deal with voice coils, because they're a little bit different size than the newer speakers, are the ones they're manufacturing, the voice coils that they're manufacturing, he's buying. So
unless somebody has a stock they're hanging on to, we're probably screwed.
well, yeah, but you know, that's why we were thinking that it doesn't look like it's something that would be too hard to make, you know, if you had the round media, the round piece, you know, and it's made out of some kind of paper media, and then you can go ahead and then just wind your own coils on there, and you got two leads coming out, and they go from there on to the where they connect to the output transformer there on the cone, you know, where they glue the connections right on the cone there, and you know, if it's going to be the right size and it's going to work, I mean, you know, then we can start making these things, so at least we're going to have some in stock. But I don't know.
Or you
It's
take
just a thought.
or you take a new form and take the wire off and put smaller wire on.
We could do that, you know, if you can't get any coil forms, you know. I don't know. Or maybe you can buy coil forms all day long. I have no clue, Bruce. So, but we'll have to see about that one. I hope we can get something to get that going, because I've got a Philco actually right now, one of these Philcos, and it takes one of these little bitty speakers. It's like a racetrack style, 6 inches by 4 inch, you know, shaped like a football. And I can't get, Ron can't fix it because he doesn't have a voice coil to repair it with right now. So
Yeah.
kind of stuck. And so everybody else is going to be in the same boat, you know, if that's the case. I don't know. And you know, the speaker, when it was in the radio, when I went through it, it was terrible. It was, the voice coil was rubbing real bad on the pole, and it was bottoming out and just, you know, distorting and all that. So and then it's sometimes pretty tough to find the right speaker. that's gonna work and have the right field coil in it.
Okay, well, you guys take care.
Yep,
I'm
you
around.
too, Robbie. Everybody take care, and we'll
Yep.
see everybody next week.
Yep, next
Okay, good
Wednesday.
night.
Hey, Mark,
Let
Take
me know, you
care.
guys, what you guys want to do, what presentation you want to do, so I can kind of advertise it and let people know what we're going to show. That
I
way
don't know.
we can bring some people in.
Who's got something to demonstrate?
And I thought about doing maybe two, like, half hour each for each person. That way.
Yeah, because we had actually a lot of chat time. You know, my deal went pretty quick, you know.
Yeah, so if we set up 2 and then have chat time afterwards, then I can either edit it out or just leave it, let it play raw.
Why don't we think about it, and then we can let you know, because
Yeah.
somebody's gonna have to come up with some sort of a tech talk or something for next week.
Little format of presentation, right? And then I'm going to put this all on YouTube so people can see it afterwards. So
Okay,
I've
cool.
recorded it
All
all.
right, great. Thank
All
you.
Just
right.
let me know. I'm open to anybody showing anything. So I think that would be great. And you guys did a great job, Mike. I really
Oh,
enjoyed
thanks.
it.
All
Hey,
right.
Franklin, how about doing some kind of a little talk on how like a power tube works?
Oh, fantastic. You want to do it?
Yeah.
Are you going to do it, Robbie?
You want to do it?
No, I'm not that skilled in it, but somebody
Robbie,
that
you
knows.
do a great job. I want you to do like how you do your kind of diagnosis, because you like to do the diagnosis stuff, right? Like you did.
Oh yeah, I like to take.
Why don't you do one of those? Find a radio and then do a diagnosis. Show how you start off. I mean, you do a certain way, right? Every
Yeah,
time.
I got a 10-point check thing.
Oh, that'd be
That's
fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
That
Love to
sounds
see
great.
that,
Oh, I
Robbie.
got a great German radio for you, Robbie.
Yeah, that's nice. I'd love to see that one. That'd be great.
Yeah, I
So
can do it.
let's do 2 30-minute ones, and then you guys can chat afterwards too, or before. We want to leave it kind of loose, but yet we'll do have 2 different presenters each time. That way we have a backup too.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Sounds great.
Okay,
Good.
see you next
All
time.
right.
All right. Have
Everybody
a good
take
night.
care. Have a good week.
Good night, you guys.
All right. See you, Warren. Everybody else.
Thanks everybody for coming. We had about 20 people, so.
Oh, good.
All right.
Good
Take
night.
care. We'll
Bye-bye.
see you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Night.